Good Sunday morning, everyone. Welcome to Pop Culture Punch Out, episode 101. This is Zorgog checking in, and I'm here with
Boe.
And this episode, we're just going to call A-Aron is a Steeler. Boe, we're leading with this story because not a lot going on right now in the NFL. This is about it. So now the only quarterback I think of significance that's out there waiting for a home is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So Aaron Rodgers is a Steeler. And no offense, Steelers fans, but I'm going to give you a little sneak peek at your season. You are, at best, the third best team in your own division. That's with or without Aaron Rodgers, who's 41.
Mm-hmm.
He signed a 1-year deal. I believe the guarantee is like $10 million. So yeah, $10 million guaranteed, can be worth up to $19.5 million with incentives. So they gave him the incentive-laden contract. To try and earn it. He passed his physical. Good job. This doesn't make the Steelers any better or worse. So your QB room is now Aaron Rodgers, Will Howard, and Mason Rudolph.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this is an 8 or 9 win team at best. You make the playoffs. Do I think this will be Mike Tomlin's first losing season? It could be.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll do just enough to get a wild card and get eliminated in the wild card round. Again, this is just where we're at right now with Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh, the carrot of Aaron Rodgers was dangling out there. The vanilla ice cream of Kirk Cousins did not appetize anybody in the front office. Kirk Cousins is like the blueprint for a average to above average slightly quarterback that won't lose you a big game on his own, getting a huge contract for being mediocre.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. What do you see their 2025 season looking like, Bo?
Bad. And I said it since day one that Aaron Rodgers was going to be their choice. You could just tell based off of their signings and their let-goes of what they were getting. They'll fail.
Yeah.
It's going to be an astronomical failure.
It's going to be odd. And as Colts fans, trust me, we've seen our share of awful. We've seen our share of failures. Right now, our quarterback room, Bo, would you like to know who's the projected number one?
Danny Derp?
No. It's Riley Leonard.
Really?
On the depth chart. From Notre Dame.
Yeah. Hey.
So, Anthony Richardson, same shoulder. It's banged up again. I don't know. I think at this point, if he's healed and cleared to play, just play him. Get it over with. Play him. The schedule is what it is. We got to see what this dude has. And if he has any value moving forward, is it as a franchise quarterback with us, or is it trading him to someone else for a mid-draft pick?
Mm-hmm.
because that's where we're at. We have to get out of this year. In other words, this is his make or break. And then let Danny Dimes and Riley Leonard battle it out for who starts. But right now, the depth chart is Riley Leonard is QB1.
Yeah.
Which, that's not... Listen, there's nothing against Riley Leonard, but that's not good.
Yeah.
Because you got a guy you drafted at number 4. He's hurt, same shoulder he had surgery on. And I've got Daniel Jones, who everyone presumed would be the starter based on experience. But now he's behind Riley Leonard. I don't know. I guess week 9 is going to be very, very big this year for the trade deadline, I think.
Yeah.
I think a lot of teams are going to be shedding contracts, trying to trade people for picks, for draft capital, as they say. I can't really blame them, but this is make or break for a lot of people this year.
Yeah.
It really is. Year 3, if you're a top 10 draft pick and you're not hitting, it's probably either the team and the coaches that you're with, or it's you, and you're just not translating into the NFL style. So that the A-Rod, that's the big news. Aside from that, there's not really too much going on. Got a retirement announced. Wide receiver Chris Conley retiring after 10 seasons. So best of luck in your future endeavors, as they would say. Speaking of future endeavors, now we're going to shift over and do you have any more football news that you have? Okay. No. So we're gonna get off of that and get into some wrestling.
Gosh dang. Today marks 3 years since Ospreay made his first appearance in AEW.
And it doesn't seem like it's been 3 years, by the way. And there are some funny things going on in wrestling right now. So I'm gonna touch on first of all, Against All Odds was not sold out. So if they're telling you it was sold out, that's a lie. I was told they were set up for 2,200 seats. And as of yesterday, they had 1,800. That's not a sellout. So if you manage to bring people in from the area and throw them in seats as seat fillers, that doesn't count as a sellout. When you buy your own tickets, to me, that doesn't count as a sellout. By the way, speaking of TNA Against All Odds, absolutely mediocre show. This company is still WWE light, and now produced by Paul Levesque and Shawn Michaels are 2 of the 3 producers. Executive producers. What does that tell you guys? What does that tell you? It's only a matter of time before they buy TNA. They have the video library, and they can make some DVDs or streaming package deals, and generate some revenue or ad revenue off of the TNA name. They more than likely will not keep most of the roster. They will keep, you want to know who I think they will keep? Tessa Blanchard. 100% they will keep her. So yeah, not a sellout.
She's the only one they're pushing. And,
by the way, Money in the Bank also not sold out. A lot of empty seats. I don't know if you saw that. So, we'll get into that, but the big thing in Money in the Bank is Ron Killing's R-Truth returned, and I'm going to give you my scenario on what this was. They're going to tell you
that this is all a work.
Yeah, that this was all a work, but this is not a work. What it was this was a terrible look for this company.
Yeah.
And You got rid of a guy that's been there 17 years now, going on 18. Yeah. One of the most beloved wrestlers backstage. A guy that you could put out there to do anything and people are going to pay attention and watch. Mm-hmm. He's just got... Ron Killings has the it factor, and he always has had it. It didn't matter where he was.
Yeah.
He's got charisma. I guarantee you would not have a Swerve Strickland the way Swerve Strickland is without an R-Truth Ron Killings. Mm-hmm. Rapping himself to the ring, doing his own entrance music. This is... He was ahead of his time, mm-hmm. really. And I'm gonna have to agree with several people on X, one of which is Andy H. Murray from What Culture Wrestling. He's a big AEW guy. But he said, and I quote, and this is what I agree with, the likeliest scenario with R-Truth, in my opinion, is WWE cut him, saw the backlash, decided they'd made an error, and brought him back, likely on lesser terms, appeasing the fans, and that he doesn't see benefits to a work in this scenario. Neither do I. This is not a work. So they let R-Truth go because he turned down a lowball offer.
Yeah.
Chances are, somewhere between what he wanted and the lowball offer is what they signed him to now. But further down the road, Bo, when there's more attention being paid to other things, he will be let go again.
Oh, yeah.
TKO is in multi-billions of debt. Billions with a B dollars of debt. WWE no longer does house shows.
Yeah, they haven't for...
and
how long exactly, but for a while.
And there's a couple things to piggyback off of WWE not doing house shows. So, not doing house shows, while I agree you don't need to do house shows 6 days a week,
yeah,
aside from TV, I think you need to run, if you're the biggest company in the world, the most recognized globally in pro wrestling, nay, sports entertainment, 1 or 2 a week is good because your wrestlers are getting opportunities to try things out, work things out. The Performance Center, who cares, dude? You still got injuries left and right. People coming up like Lyra, after 5 years in the developmental program, not ready for prime time. And that's because they're not practicing. They're not working.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that doesn't work in? Football. You need full pads practices at least 4 days a week.
Oh, yeah.
Getting ready for the game and then a walkthrough. Even coaching youth football, it's 3 to 4 days of practice and a walkthrough.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have game day. And if you don't show out and win, you go right back to it next week and you prepare for your next opponent. They have no prep time.
Yeah.
What do you think about first of all, R-Truth, and second of all, WWE not doing house shows?
I mean, I'm glad they were able to go back on their stupid decision.
Yeah.
And, obviously they're going to try and make a deal with it now with, Ron Killings and everything, but what? He's just going to lose to Cena again? You're not having R-Truth beat John Cena.
No.
Not to mention, last night, you're reaching a point now where your fans are so deluded and stupid to where Cena is a fucking terrible heel. Like, this heel run is just god-awful. Has no goal in sight.
No, it's like Cody's title win, Mariah May's title win in AEW. It's that moment was awesome. The follow-up, friggin' ass. Terrible. Terrible follow-up.
But where I see it too is just this storyline is fucking stupid. Oh, I'm taking away everything you love. So what? Now your fans just have to deal with a year of awful wrestling because the storyline says, and these fans are stupid enough to be defending it. Oh well, this is the whole story though. You're not supposed to like it. Yeah, I should be able to like the actual wrestling match going on.
Yeah.
And not just Cena hitting people with belts every 2 minutes and nut-shotting everybody. It feels like I'm watching Nakamura's heel turn again.
Yeah.
And the crowd's booing Cody and Jay because Cena's in the ring. And so literally nothing productive is being done.
It's crazy. You're looking at a situation where everything pointed to this could be the coolest angle of 2025 for WWE. And they've blown it. Absolutely blown it. I can't put it all on Cena. He's an actor. He's in movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing the part. But again, if by playing the part, there's not a part of you in that character.
Yeah.
When it's artificial and pre-written, it's not. This isn't a movie. You're going out on live TV and pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sorry, PLE. Whatever. There needs to be you have to cut the leash down. Mm. You know what I mean? You got to let it go. He can't be chained to the lines that you fed him for 3 hours before the event.
Yeah. You
got to let this guy go off. He used to do it just fine 20 years ago.
Him and The Rock are great with no script.
Yeah, now it's like cardboard.
And now, what the fuck ever happened with The Rock?
He's just got. I think he wanted to distance himself from the product, honestly. The bloodline's no longer a thing. Now they want to restructure Roman's contract.
Good luck with that, by the way.
And this. So Vince Russo has said it on his podcast. Jim Cornette said it on his podcast. Triple H doesn't know how to run a company. He doesn't. And while the wrestling got better for a while and the stories got better for a while, you still relied. Yeah. You've still relied on the bloodline. Seth Rollins. Becky Lynch has a belt put back on her, predictably, to either A, SummerSlam Night 1, have a match against Bayley for taking her out of WrestleMania with Lyra. And the other way they could go is Vakor taking the title at SummerSlam from Becky Lynch, while Julia takes the other secondary women's title off of the horrible Zelina Vega. And then those two are now your secondary champions, which, if done correctly, and I say if because it's WWE, could elevate those titles. Nothing against Lyra Valkyria, nothing against Becky Lynch. Both of them, if you added them together, they're still not a 5-tool wrestler. Mm-hmm. Yeah, neither of them can talk. Neither one can cut a promo.
Becky used to, way back.
During
the Man era.
It's all rust, and that was accidental. Think about that. That was just Nia botching, as usual, and breaking Becky's face into the man gimmick. So, but again, they don't do that type of stuff anymore. Where look, something happened. Hey, let's roll with it, right? Let's make this a thing.
Because I got a thing now. LA Knight's been in every Money in the Bank and lost. It's over for him.
It is. It's over for Penta. It was over before it started because he's 40. Now he's 40. And Finn Balor's 43. These guys that have been the linchpin at one point for NXT Black and Gold, on the main roster have done absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The equivalent of nothing. Balor, and what a shame it is, because Balor won the Universal Championship.
Yeah, that was his.
And injured himself, to which McMahon said, "Oh, he's injury prone."
Never put the belt on him.
Yep, and they never did. They'll put him in a situation where he could possibly get a chance at it.
But they don't.
Yep. Like, remember, it was him against Roman, then Braun came down to cash in, then the Shield reunited.
Yeah.
Because they hit the panic button again. Every time this company has to hit the panic button, right now it goes back to the Shield.
Yeah.
And it might not directly be the Shield, but it is guys that were in the Shield.
Yeah.
And vice versa, I got to say the same thing for AEW, because when they have to hit the panic button, it's a Shield guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's Moxley coming in. And say what you will about him. Again, nobody else on the roster, even Mercedes Moné or Mariah June, come close to 1 million YouTube views. It's only Mox and the Death Riders.
Yeah.
Highest rated segments of shows, Mox and the Death Riders. So say what you will, it hit a point for about 3 to 4 weeks where I don't know what happened to that storyline. I can't fully blame Copeland. I blame that decision, but I see again what Tony Khan was trying to do.
Mm.
He was trying to have a veteran show the younger talent. I'm trying to tie it into the story.
Mm.
That Moxley could come close to being broken. You just have to know what to do.
Mm.
And TK, knowing what you had to do, the run back match, which was the street fight, should have been the pay-per-view match.
Yeah. No.
Because then people wouldn't be shitting on Copeland all over the place.
And now they will forever.
Yeah, forever it's going to be, why is Adam Copeland, why isn't he losing? Why is it? Dude, I've told people time and time again, Edge/Copeland, that guy, again, had it. He is 50.
Yeah.
Christian, current age, same age. I think there's maybe like a 9-month difference. Edge is a little older.
Yeah.
But Christian Cage is having, again, the run of his life since joining AEW. This is the best version I've ever seen of him.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. He embraced the douchebag heel. And it's perfect. It really is. I can't say anything bad about Christian Cage's run.
Yeah, no, me either.
I also really can't say much bad about AEW's 4-hour show with a run over, by the way. They had an overrun on 4 hours. But tell me again that, like, Warner Brothers doesn't like them.
Yeah.
So I want to hear who doesn't like a company that's going to give them over 4 hours of television time.
Yeah. With consistent viewership.
And by the way, viewership was up. So 655,000 for Dynamite. Then Collision started late after the Dynamite overrun. Collision hit almost 400,000. That is just straight cable.
Yeah.
If you include, I think even Meltzer said this, if you were to include max viewership for both, you're over for Wednesday night, 1.5 million viewers. What more can I ask for from a company that is constantly just bashed, ridiculed, to the point where I have assholes on social media saying Mr. Iguana is greater than Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. Guys, this is a guy who painted Sacco green to look like an iguana. You guys fall for the low-hanging fruit gimmick.
Yeah, every time.
This dude is a giant gimmick. I don't care how good he is in the ring. He is Marco Stunt.
Yeah.
They are gimmick character. That's it. These guys at Worlds Collide, right? They didn't sell out either. No sellouts. You see the stand. There's a picture right here. I'm not going to show it online because I don't know if there's like copyright or anything. But Bo, look at the upper deck. That's Worlds Collide. Okay, so to break it down for you in layman's terms, there were still over 300 tickets available.
Jesus.
The amount of money that TKO / WWE is gouging their fans for tickets is catching up to them.
Yeah.
We smell you, TKO. You're in hella debt. And you are trying to gouge WWE fans because you can't run UFC fights every other night.
Yeah.
Okay? So you're trying to, cost-cutting measure, no house shows. But, correct me if I'm wrong, Bo, house shows are cheaper and they sell out.
Yeah.
We've been to multiple WWE house shows. No television, and we've been to television. And we've been to pay-per-views. I've been to a ton of wrestling shows over the decades because I'm old. And house shows are great for a company because wrestlers go out there and just do what they want.
Yeah.
They try new shit. You know, you can cut a live promo, right? You get reps. Not only that, but because the tickets for house shows are generally cheaper, more merch is sold. So you're generating revenue 2 days that you're not on television, getting ad revenue.
Yeah.
So this cost-cutting measure is having an effect on younger talent, i.e. Lyra. It's having an effect on merch sales because if your tickets are ridiculous, why am I going to buy merch? Why am I going to buy concessions at the arenas? I spent all my money on the ticket to get here. You're pricing your own demographic out of your shit.
Yeah.
This ain't UFC. And UFC, by the way, is $2.5 billion of that debt. Of the $3.1 billion is UFC.
Mm-hmm.
But now WWE is already in debt after TKO buys them. And Endeavor is in debt. That's their parent company of TKO, which is the parent company of UFC and WWE.
Yeah.
This is a bad formula. So would you think of Worlds Collide? Was it predictable?
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
So the AAA competitors came out on top in 2 matches. Other than that, it was just we're there to job. I got 2 guys that are more over in Mexico than people could believe in a trios match losing. That's Pagano and Psycho Clown.
Yeah.
2 gimmicks that are completely over that just you go to WWE production, they're dead. They're dead.
Yeah.
They're done. This was a tryout for NXT Mexico.
Yeah.
Tell me when I'm telling lies, Bo. They're turning AAA into NXT Mexico AAA. That's what they're going to call it. I'm telling you. More spoilers coming from Zorgog and Boe.
Mm-hmm.
So Vakor won. They have her wrestling twice in one night. Octagon Jr. twice in one night because Dom challenged him after his Worlds Collide match.
Yeah.
For Money in the Bank. They ran 2 big shows on the same day because this is all they have. All they have now is television and pay-per-view. That's it. No house shows. Nothing. No building things up on the road. Nothing.
Yeah.
No gaining experience going territory to territory. So now you know why some of the former AEW wrestlers are taking far less money because they're getting the same reduced schedule.
Yeah.
So now WWE is offering the same reduced schedule for less money. So if you want to make less money and you know you're not a top person, like Lexis King, Ricky Saints, Mariah May, not going to be a top person in WWE. She's going to be a top person in NXT. But once you get up to that main roster, they're going to eat you alive. You're not having a Hollywood ending match. You're not going to be able to bleed unless it's by accident. You're not going to be able to cut super racy promos. You're not going to have the freedom that you once did. If you put your finger too far in your mouth while licking it, they're going to tell you, no, now we got to keep you off TV because the FCC came after us. Because that was considered a quote-unquote sexual gesture. Right?
Yeah.
And they're backed by shareholders. AEW's not. They're backed by the Khan family.
Yeah.
They're a family-run business. WWE used to be. Not anymore. And the guys that are running the show, they can't run a show.
Yeah.
I mean, my assessment of Triple H is like when AEW first went on television in 2019 in October, right? So Tony Khan, Booker of the Year the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Triple H, same thing. First 2 years, he's in charge. Booker of the Year, Booker of the Year. Now where is he? Bottom of the barrel, because you can't do what you want to do.
Yeah.
You can't. You can't run the show the way you want to. And he's admitted that in an interview. He said, if I put on the type of show that I want to put on, WWE fans will probably not watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's to your detriment, Paul, because the company you work for made it that way for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
They told you there's nothing outside of WWE. NXT isn't even that good. That's our developmental brand. That's where we put people to learn how to do this the right way.
Yeah.
Is there a right way to tear your Achilles? Maybe we go back to story 1 with Aaron Rodgers and ask him.
Yeah, right.
Right? Hit the old laugh track. But, so SmackDown is meh.
Yeah.
Because it was going to be meh leading into the weekend. Because money, you don't want that to overshine Money in the Bank. Or outshine it, I should say. Worlds Collide is what it is. It was free on YouTube. That tells you right there what they think of the product. And they allowed Conan on commentary, I believe, so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other. But, I mean, Conan's booking in AAA was fucking terrible, so how did I expect anything else? It was going to be terrible no matter who's booking it. They said the AAA bookers for Worlds Collide were Conan and Jeremy Borash.
Yeah.
So the benchmark is very low. Like, if they do great, they're going to look like geniuses. If they do a middle-of-the-road show. And I think had this been all AAA talent, probably wouldn't have sold even as much as they did attendance-wise. And B, it would have been a worse show. It would have been all athletic spectacle and nothing else because Conan's booking is terrible.
Yeah.
Again, this is why some people just shouldn't have the book. But I throw it over to you. When do you think the AAA roster cuts are coming?
Now. I mean, they just had the show they wanted.
Yeah.
That's all they care about.
And it was on YouTube for free. Again, you can say whatever you want. You can say, well, yeah, it's, put it up there because our fans don't know Lucha Libre.
Yeah.
So again, you're telling your fan base that they're stupid.
Yeah.
Please watch us, but you're stupid. I'll admit, I didn't know a lot of the AAA wrestlers. The ones I do know are like 40 plus.
Yeah.
in age. So they're going to be gone. You know? When the biggest news coming out of your weekend is the return of R-Truth. Because of the fan backlash for you getting rid of this guy for cost-cutting measures, what was he making? $400,000 a year? That is honestly a drop in the hat compared to the amount of debt your company is in.
Yeah.
And that's TKO. That's the umbrella company. And then their umbrella's in debt. Your umbrellas are all leaking. You need to fix it. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy because WWE fans will never see the error of that company. They never see it in the light that they don't want it to be seen in. It's not a good product. The best part coming out of Money in the Bank, Rollins won the Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So now at least you can get people to tune in.
Get the Jey Uso the fuck out of here.
Well, get Jey Uso out of here or get Cena out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's going to be used on one of the two. I would assume Jey Uso.
Well, they now announced a match for tomorrow, though. Jey Uso versus Gunther.
Oh, boy.
For the title.
So they may be getting that off of him tomorrow. Dude, it's a failed experiment. Like, you tried. Good job.
Yeah.
This guy is not it. He's not. He's a tag team wrestler.
Yeah.
So is his brother. They're at their best when they're a team. Speaking of, I'm going to go into AEW. So for AEW, they're running 4 hours again this Wednesday. So I'm going to have to watch again Wednesday and Thursday because, work. But do you think... So now they announced Bowens is taking on Kyle Fletcher. No way Bowens is winning.
No.
What are they doing, Bo? Caster and Bowens are both losing by themselves.
Yeah, I don't know what they thought.
They're both losing by themselves. Is this going to be a type of thing where their breakup wasn't malicious?
Yeah.
Where they're like, our strength is unity. Is Daddy Ass going to bring the Acclaim back together?
Yeah.
That might be what's going on. I'm not 100% sure. I thought you gave Bowens his big fucking... His entrance is great now. He's already great in the ring. He can cut a promo.
Yeah.
I don't know how this guy isn't already on a losing streak after you repackaged him.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what AEW does. It's like my only big issue with them. They'll go through a whole repackage. They'll do everything just to do nothing.
Yeah, they'll do everything and they'll do it right. Even the first execution of Anthony Bowens coming out at the pay-per-view, nobody knew. People thought it was Josh Alexander debuting because of the new theme. Like, we haven't heard this. And his entrance music is fucking incredible. I love that shit. Yeah. It's in my head right now. It's catchy as shit.
What band is it? Who does his theme song?
Here, you talk for a minute. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I know. His theme song is actually like a licensed song. I'm just forgetting who it is. I have them in my playlist. But yeah, no, I thought they were going to go big with him because he's a fantastic wrestler.
And it was crazy. Like, he is a 5-tool player.
He should at least get the TNT title. And...
Is it... Let's see.
Max, like, the best wrestler alive gimmick is funny, but, like, when is it going to end?
Yeah.
Like, is this just literally, like, public humiliation for life for this dude? Because if that's... Here's my problem with something like that. If that's the case, as Max Caster, am I re-signing? Probably not.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Take my chance. He'll make a killing. He's a Creative Pro guy. So he'll make a killing on the indies.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he does much in WWE either. The way they're going right now,
he'll start the second hit row.
So what do we got? Anthony Bowen's new entrance theme is Underground by Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
And that explains why it's catchy and good.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything is right.
Yeah.
They got him with Daddy Ass so he can talk.
Yeah.
Even though Bowens can talk, Caster can talk.
Yeah.
But having them do their shit in the ring matters. I want my story playing out in the ring. You can have ancillary, story outside promos.
I guess my whole issue is right now with the tag team division is just kind of buns. Like, there's no team that feels like they can go toe to toe with the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, you'd have to bring over like a team from Rev Pro or New Japan or CMLL to get the titles off of the Hurt Syndicate. Right now, unless you're bringing in a couple of heavy hitting big bastards and teaming them together, like a newer team, I don't see anybody credibly beating them. Certainly not Top Flight.
No.
It's certainly not Crew.
Yeah.
You just defying, suspending my disbelief for like Commander and Hologram versus the Hurt Syndicate is just not happening. I can't. You have to have a team, at least both of the guys are at least 250 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to think you got to do like a Twin Towers situation where it's got to be a team like Cage and Archer, or you put Takeshita and Fletcher in there.
Yeah.
Or it's going to have to be FTR.
Which would be weird as a heel on heel.
Yeah. But it's a heel on heel where the Hurt Syndicate are over as shit.
Yeah.
Like they've been babyface basically since they started, and they're not supposed to be. I heard word speaking to AEW that Cedric Alexander, it's 50-50 between TNA and AEW. No, there's no word.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's just because where do you fit them?
Yeah.
There's so many members of that roster that you really got to evaluate who you have and move on from some of them.
Yeah.
There's no easy way to do it. You gotta release people. You can't just sit here and let contracts expire.
Yeah.
That does you no good. Look at what just happened.
Yeah.
Contract expired 2 days later on TV. Fresh in everyone's mind because they've been reading about her contract expiring for months.
Yeah.
And she hasn't been on TV for months, and you're saying, why? And then it happens. So it's just a crazy situation. Ticket prices are ridiculous. TNA executive producers are now Shawn Michaels and Paul Levesque. Just buy the company already. The broadcasting network that owns TNA.
Yeah.
What is it? Anthem.
I think so, yeah.
Anthem, who owns the broadcasting company, also. Just name a price, dude, and get it over with, because this is the worst cross-promotional attempt I've ever seen in my life. And I've seen several.
Yeah.
But this one is just... It's obvious. The TNA championship is on an NXT wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Who just keeps beating TNA wrestlers.
Yeah.
Elijah, Joe Hendry, Santana. Just buy the company.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say on that one. And then I'm gonna let Bo talk about some video game stuff because he was lit up a little while ago.
So, the Switch 2 came out. It's been out since Thursday, technically Wednesday night, if you were like a lot of fans, and then to the midnight release, they started opening stores a little earlier than midnight. Just because, obviously, the employees want to get the fuck out of there. They're not trying to be there until 4 in the morning to then, like, open the store at 10.
Yeah.
It's a great launch. I think the console's amazing. It's exactly what I wanted. I thought they nailed it with the Switch, and so all you do is make it better. This isn't sitting right with people, though. And I want to first clarify and say that there are some things that I'm not directly in favor of, but I'm also not going to sit here, dawdle, and act like a boycott online is going to do absolutely anything against a corporation. So one of the main things right now is people finding any way to complain or hate the Nintendo Switch 2. Whether it's games, the console itself. Now all of a sudden we're back to calling Nintendo fans Nintendo toddlers, like what happened in the Wii U era. As if all of you don't own a Switch, which I find very funny. Like 90% of gaming people own a Switch, but are now acting like they never did. And that they hated it. They always hated it. Like, say that to the 153 million that sold. But my main issue currently is people who are complaining that the Switch 2 should have just been named the Switch Pro or something like that, because all it is just a better Switch. One, that's what you've been asking for the past 3 or 4 years. I hope the next gen is just a better Switch because they really nailed it with the concept. Everybody was absolutely adoring everything happening with the Switch 2, especially during the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, until the prices were dropped. And once the prices of things were dropped, now people are acting like they didn't like any of it, and that the console's terrible, and that Nintendo is evil. And for that I have to say, what the fuck are you doing playing video games if you can't do some of these things? If you are complaining about a game costing $10 more than what they currently do, I don't think the problem is the company anymore.
No.
I think the problem is you. And people are saying Nintendo started this. No, PlayStation started this with $70 games. And once $70 games became the norm, companies could be like, well, shit, I can just put any price on my game. And as long as people see that game is worth it, they'll pay that price. I would not be surprised. Dad, you could call me crazy. I will bet money on this. GTA 6 will be over $100. 110% GTA 6 is going to be a $100 game. Because these companies can now see fit that as long as my game has that value, I can make it whatever the fuck price I want, and it will work. And these same people hating on Nintendo for an $80 game, mind you, it's only one game that's $80, and it comes with the console. I don't see any of you buying Mario Kart. You're going to buy the console that comes with Mario Kart.
Yeah, so if you take the total of the console,
yeah,
plus the game, there's your value.
Yeah. Mario Kart is an $80 game, and yes, I will say like $80 game. It's just a stupid price. I don't know why it's there.
But what does it come with? This is the thing. It's open world, right?
Yeah, it's a game that's obviously going to be supported for years.
Yeah, it's 30 plus tracks. It throws retro things into it too to bring back nostalgic situations.
They're already teasing content updates. They were asked why Diddy Kong's not in the game, and they said they can't answer at this time. And then somebody else asked about 200cc, because that was my only blemish. I was like, why is it 200cc in this game? It was super fun. Mario Kart 8 added it, and I felt like in an open world it would be utter fucking chaos to do 200cc. But they're adding it for free later down on the line.
Yeah.
And I think that's the direction Nintendo's going, is if I charge you $80 for this big game, I don't have to charge for DLC anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I can just make all this shit free.
Yeah, and it's built into the cost.
Yeah.
So
And I don't see a lot of games being $80. Only the really big fucking franchises. I see Mario Kart is $80 because they can get away with it. Smash will probably be $80 because the game has those games always have so much fucking content that they're worth your time. The next big Zelda could probably be $80. Same with Mario. But Metroid will never be $80. Kirby will never be $80. These games will never sniff $80 because Nintendo still wants to sell the fucking games, dude. But if you're going to sit here and say that this console is going to be worse than the Wii U, when within 24 hours it broke the world record for fastest selling console, which I now fully read up, the PS4 had it. In 3 days, the PS4 sold 1 million units. If you would like a comparison, in 20 hours, the Switch 2 sold 3. 3 million consoles. The hate rhetoric in the boycotting is not going to work.
No.
The other thing I want to get out of the way is, so Nintendo put out a terms of service that basically said illegal modifications to their console can sometimes allow Nintendo to shut your console down. Essentially bricking your console. People are now saying, well, that means I don't own my console. Because why does Nintendo have the power to do that? PlayStation has had that power since 2007, as did Xbox. You guys are only complaining about Nintendo doing shit that the other two companies have been doing for a fucking decade, and you have had no care in the world when they did it. Or I have so many PC players talking about ownership. You own nothing! PC is only digital. At any point, a company can literally rip the license from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. They won't even refund you your money, because you purchased the license, dumbass.
Yeah.
This is how video games are going. This is the direction that it's going in. And guess what? You are complaining about Nintendo. I bet you have been supporting these other companies doing it for years, which is what allowed Nintendo to see it as normal.
Yeah. I mean, tell me you guys don't play Overwatch, right?
Yeah. There's these fully online games that what's going to happen when they shut down? All that money that you spent on it will just go in the air. But guess what? Somebody like me, I don't care. I'm playing a video game for the present. When they shut down, dude. But when I spend money on a game, I'm just playing a game. I don't care about anything. These people care too much. And if the economics of video games are that much of a problem to you, why the fuck are you playing them in the first place?
Yeah, dude, I play...
They're a hobby.
Most of my games I play are retro games. Like, I have the PS5, which is awesome. There's, 2 Switches in our house, or 3.
Yeah. 2
Switch 2s, right?
Yeah.
Am I at the wrong count?
2 Switch 2s, a Switch Lite, and then I have an OLED.
Yeah. So we have all these... and then I have Retrons. I have the Sega Genesis Mini. I have an actual Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
That we have all sorts of retro shit that we love.
Yeah. Mind you, I'm getting called online a Nintendo shill for legitimately just giving facts. I'm not saying I support $80 games, but if it didn't come as a bundle, which it did, I technically spent $50 on Mario Kart, but even if Mario Kart was $80, yeah, I'm going to buy it because I like Mario Kart.
And by the way, guys, we are not endorsed by Nintendo, Sony, or any of these, but Zorgog and Boe and I'm Zorgog. Boe and I fully welcome anybody that wants to endorse us in this realm.
But where my issue stems is, I'll go online, I'll get called a shill for buying a console of video games I like, which
you set money aside for.
Yeah.
You waited for.
And I can't wait for this console to do overwhelmingly successful, and all the people hating on it, once something that they like gets announced, they'll buy it. They'll next year, I promise you, Pokemon Generation 10, and then Duskbloods, which is the Elden Ring developers exclusive.
It'll be to you like the elation I felt when all these fucking dopey-ass Disney people with Snow White got bitch slapped right in the face by Minecraft movie.
Yeah.
Which I said on this show before Minecraft movie was released, it's going to hit $1 billion. And Disney's going to kick themselves for releasing these stupid-ass live-action adaptations of their cartoon movies.
Yeah.
And what the fuck happened, Bo?
Yeah.
That is exactly what... All the live-action remakes are done.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was called a shill earlier. I was arguing with some girl online, and so I brought up the argument of this. Okay, well, if Switch 2 price are the problems, and a $500 console price is the problem for you, which, by the way, the Switch 2 is $450. I don't know where people are getting $500 or $600 from.
They're pushing it up to where if they buy all this additional shit.
Yeah, not even just that. They're looking at European prices. That's pounds, you fucking morons.
I can guarantee you some of these idiots are looking at, well, I have to buy a screen protector, and I have to buy a case, and I have to buy blah, blah, blah. Okay, so when I go out and I get a cell phone, right, I have to buy the same shit.
And mind you, the phone itself is $1,000.
Yeah. So what am I going, oh, well, I just spent $1,200 on a $1,000 phone?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, bought the phone and the accessories.
Yeah. I will tell you this. I bought the console with Mario Kart. I bought 3 games to go with it. I bought a Pro controller. I bought the Switch 2 camera, and it all came to around $700. And that's the price of a PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
And mind you, yes, you're going to call me a shill. I own a gaming PC. I own a PS5. I modified my current Spider-Man PS5. It is a PS5 Pro, but with the plates of a Spider-Man PS5. I've literally, I have everything that I can possibly have. I like to play games in general. I'm so sick of these people who are a stickler for one company. Obviously Nintendo's my favorite. I just like their franchises more than other companies. But I play everything. I just like video games. If PlayStation comes out last year, I loved Stellar Blade. I loved Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I just like playing games. I like being in the know. I'm just big into the hobby. But this whole, it all comes down to social media.
Mm-hmm.
But these people thinking that they're on a high and mighty moral high ground for not supporting the Switch 2. Okay, so don't support video games. Don't support phones. Every corporation is in it for money, you fucking idiot. You're saying Nintendo doesn't care about their fans? At least Nintendo puts out games for franchises that they're going to lose money on. I don't think you people understand it. Xenoblade Chronicles is never going to sell well because it is a super niche game, but they still make them because there are fans out there. Meanwhile, PlayStation, where's Ape Escape? Where's Twisted Metal? Sly Cooper? Jak and Daxter? Where's Little Big Planet? Where's Medieval? Where I can name fucking 90 franchises that PlayStation just let die because it doesn't make them enough money.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo will avidly make video games that they lose money on because fans care about them.
So I have an update.
Yeah.
On our truth. I'll go when you wrap up. But
no, to the people who own a Switch 2, enjoy it. Have fun with it. Nobody cares. Nobody. There will be people who will complain and complain and complain, but I promise they'll disappear within a month because they'll move on to the next hate train.
Yeah, there's always something to complain about.
I've already told people online, guess what? You want to know? I already know when it's all going to vanish. When the next Nintendo Direct happens and a game gets announced that everybody's like, oh, holy shit! And now the Switch 2 is the best console ever.
Yeah. Record breaking.
I bet you half of this hate has come from the fact that Mario wasn't the launch title. Like everybody thought.
Yeah, well.
And that we got a 3D DK instead, which, by the way, cannot wait for DK.
No, it wasn't Mario. It was Mario Kart.
Yeah. Which, I'm sorry, it's a system seller. Why wouldn't you want that as your launch title? Look at a Wii U port of Mario Kart is the highest selling Switch game.
Yeah. It's insane, dude. Mario Kart and Smash Brothers.
The pull that they have is in Animal Crossing. Those three have pulls that no other series have.
The only games I can think of that come close would be Minecraft,
Mario, and Zelda.
Yeah.
And Pokemon. Pokemon is in a world of its own.
GTA used to be.
I don't know how it will do now because this game taking so long to come out, it needs to be literally perfect.
And
I'm sorry, I prefer Red Dead.
What was the other game that used to be big? Modern Warfare?
Oh, COD.
Yeah.
Yeah, Call of Duty's fallen off a lot.
But
still, here's my thing. Everybody online complains about Call of Duty. I don't even think the new Call of Duties are that great. I liked Black Ops 6, but it's not what it used to be.
No.
Still the highest selling game of last year. The internet is an echo chamber, bro. Nobody gives a fuck about your opinion.
Yeah, and it's like that with wrestling. It's like it with music, with pop culture,
I bet
movies.
a majority of these people who bought the Switch 2 don't even have social media. And also, keep in mind, there's children.
Yeah, and I reckon they don't have money to spend on it. They just bitch about shit.
Yeah.
To bitch.
Yeah, most of these people bitching will never buy one in the first place because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
It all comes down to the fact that the Switch was super cheap because it was super weak, dude.
Yeah, it's the same thing where people, the Ticketmaster price gouges shows. I can't go to them. You couldn't go to them when the tickets were $75 either. It's out of your range. You don't buy this shit. You don't monetarily support these companies. You bitch to make them alter their plans for less than 3% of a population.
Yeah. And now, like, to anybody who would ever say that I'm a shill, well, in an hour I'll be watching the Xbox showcase. I don't even know an Xbox, but all their games come to everything else. But
I don't like Xbox. This is Zorgog. I don't like Xbox. Controllers are clunky. Never been a fan.
My thing is, I watch their show because they normally have some big third-party announcements, and it's being rumored that Persona 4 is getting remade. And if that happens, I am buying 800 copies of that game. I love Persona 4.
So I do have some news out of Wrestle Purists on X, and it is regarding one R-Truth Ron Killings. And it says Nick Khan reached out to facilitate a new WWE deal with R-Truth Ron Killings. According to a source, the new deal came together sometime on Friday. The new deal isn't a normal, active working talent deal, but it gives R-Truth the opportunity for one true final run. And that's from Wrestle Purists via @BodySlamNet. So it is not typical. It was not Hunter reaching out. It was Nick Khan.
Yeah.
Because he saw the backlash. He saw people going, wait.
Yeah.
This guy, like, really? This guy is the cost-cutting measure when you're paying, wrestler A $8 million a year? This guy who's, probably lucky if he's making $500,000 a year. This is the guy that you got to cut. But, so Ibu says he's an employee now and will do ambassador stuff after getting a proper wrap-up. Apparently, he ignored WWE's overtures until Nick Khan reached out to him personally.
Yeah.
So Nick Khan is a businessman. This is called course correction. So what he did is he actually saw the fan outcry and acted on it. TKO, AAA, none of them cared.
Yeah.
None of them cared. And that's why pretty much nobody will care when Triple H is let go.
Yeah.
Because that's going to happen. I mean, it's just a matter of time. This is TKO WWE now. But good on R-Truth. Now he gets a final run. He doesn't have to sit here and, go to the indies or all the autograph. He can still do that. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure he will. The Hardys still do it. A lot of the older wrestlers do the conventions and shit. It's a great way to make cash. But he's going to get a final run. I think that's cool. And that was it for as far as new breaking news.
Yeah.
Got Seth Rollins and Naomi winning the respective Money in the Banks. Yeah. All in all, an interesting week in wrestling, and with a nice, happy ending, not in a Deshaun Watson kind of way for R-Truth.
Yeah.
So, I think we'll wrap it up there. Bo hit you with some video game passion right in your face. That's how we do it, violence. We'll be back here on Wednesday evening prior to the 8-hour Dynamite and Collision tapings. So we'll see you then. This is Zorgog. Oh, fucked up right there. So for Pop Culture Punch Out, this is Zorgog signing out. and Bo will sign out as well.
All right, yeah. I'm signing out.
Signing out. Peace.